Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Zamora two-player podcast. I am your host Garrett Zamora, and I am joined again by my brother Matt. Matt, thanks for joining.
Of course.
We have a Final Fantasy light episode this week, so it probably will be a shorter.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say we might be a little shorter on this one, but we'll see if it creeps in there. I might have something at the end that we can talk about. We are, so Matt has been actually getting around to God of War Ragnarok. So we're going to talk a little bit about, your experience up to wherever you are so far in that game. I'll try to remember as much as I can because it was like literally almost a year ago that I played it. And then I've been replaying two games. One that got like buried in early 2023 because it came out I think in like early February, late January, before like the tidal wave of games came out all year. And I've just kind of been going back to revisit Hi-Fi Rush. We were just like kind of starting out the podcast at that point too, so we had a lot of our like Origins episodes, all the nostalgia talk. So I don't think I really got to talk about this game much because it was during the beginnings of all that stuff. And then I've been replaying Doom Eternal, which I first played. I think it came out 2020. I feel like it came out. I think it was like a month before FF7 Remake. So it was like a perfect game to like just dive into.
Get buried.
And I was like, I had been kind of like flirting with the idea of going back to play it because like at the time that I was playing it, in my head, I was like, man, I think that is my favorite shooter of all time, at least in terms of like a campaign, like playing through a campaign.
Oh wow!
And I was like. Was I just in like the honeymoon phase before I moved on to like FF7 and like, am I really remembering? And I went back and I was like, yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is still my favorite. So those are the two games I've been replaying.
I remember a lot of hype around it, about it being a really, really good game, and maybe possibly come from you. But I could also see if it's so close to the release of FF7 Remake, I would do this where I'd be like, okay, I just have to get through this game so that I'm done it by the time Remake comes in. And you might just be speeding through it too much. So worth a revisit.
Yeah. And we'll talk about it because goddamn, that game is just so good. It's not me looking back with like rose tinted glasses. Like, no, it is like probably my favorite shooter of all time, at least as far as a campaign, for the single player campaign goes. And I needed something to fill the gap between Armored Core and Spider-Man / the new 2D Mario game, which comes out on the same day. They both come out next Friday. So I needed something. I was like still playing a little bit of Baldur's Gate and, just like, my ongoing games like FF14, we had a new patch. I play a lot of Battlefield and Street Fighter and stuff. So some of those ongoing games, but I needed just something to like sink my teeth into between Armored Core and Spider-Man and Mario. So these are two games. Normally in October, I'll like revisit some like spooky games. And I did play Dead Space a little while ago. I don't know if I had talked about that in the last episode. But I did play the Dead Space remake. That was like early September or something. And normally I'll like play some Resident Evil or something in October just for like the spooky vibes. But like I just played the RE4 DLC and I played RE2 and 3 remake just before 4 came out in March. So it's like, I don't need to revisit those like now because I played them like 5 months ago. Like, So I was like, okay, it doesn't have to be a scary game. I filled it with Hi-Fi Rush and Doom Eternal. So we'll talk about. I'll talk about those after. But first, we'll definitely start with some God of War because, goddamn, that game is so good.
Oh man, I'm super loving it, and this is vintage me where it's been on my back burner. in the past like couple of years, I've just been kind of getting back into being more passionate about gaming and more serious about gaming, and so
Mhm.
I have quite a backlog of stuff.
Yeah,
There's so many games that I haven't played, and which is an embarrassment of riches in a lot of ways. But
it's a good
um,
problem to have.
yeah, exactly. Especially when like I could buy that for like it's like a greatest hits game now essentially.
Yeah,
So and I loved I guess the reboot of God of War, like the one that came out 3 years ago
yeah.
or
It was like
or
2018, actually. I'm pretty sure.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay, well there you go. As I love that one. The combat was great, and something I kind of realized in this playthrough is like this is a very Zelda-esque game, and it's like I'm in a dungeon, there are
yeah,
puzzles to solve, and fighting to be had, and stuff like
yep.
that. So secret chests, puzzles to do that. So I'm really enjoying it. The combat is nice and refined, like it plays really well. um
Well, and it's funny
uh,
because like the way you're hitting Ragnarok is kind of the way I hit God of War 2018, because like I
mm,
played it a little bit. I think I might have borrowed it from someone when it was out on PS4 originally.
mhm.
And I don't know, I think it just came out at a bad time where it might have come out. No, it wasn't around a 14 expansion. There was something else in the window that it came out that I think I was just more into. And so I didn't really like get very far into it. And I was like, I'll revisit this at some point. And I just never got around to doing
And I think you only did after I had kind of played
it.
it
Yeah.
and platinumed it or something like that.
Well,
So
that's what I
yeah,
was gonna
yeah.
say. You started telling me how good it was,
Hmm.
and that was right when I had actually got my PS5 in the first place, and
Oh,
it
okay.
was part of that PS5 or PS Plus collection
Hmm.
library of games. And so I was like, okay, like I didn't even have to buy it, but I also waited, 2.5 years to actually get it. But it was in that catalog, and when I had downloaded it, and I think this happened very shortly after the PS5 came out, they did like a PS5 patch for the game,
Oh, okay.
to like
Yeah,
increase the resolution and
resolution
like
or
60
something.
frames per second, like so it was definitely like much smoother than its original form. So yeah, it was like you telling me how good it was. I was like, oh, okay, like let me let me give this like an honest like try or whatever. And so it's kind of the reverse now, where it's like not that you needed convincing, but it's
Yeah,
like this time like I beat Ragnarok and I platinumed it, and I
yeah.
won't shut up about how good it is. And so now you get to kind of enjoy. Like I said, we're just kind of doing the exact opposite of the first game.
Yeah, and that's funny. And my friend Cam kind of said like the story is so, amazing. And so I was just like, oh, I love a good, it's right in my wheelhouse. So
Yeah.
really enjoying it. Music is awesome. The voice act, I I'm becoming a grumpy old man because I sympathize with Kratos on so many things.
Yeah.
When Atreus is being like a little shit or whatever, and he's just like, it's very matter of fact. Here's what it is. It's like, yes, just listen to him. Jesus Christ. We were just ranting about work crap a minute ago, and so it's just like, yeah, just do it. Stop complaining.
Yeah.
But I like that Atreus is a bit older, less
Yeah.
of kind of teenage angst instead of whiny kid, which but uh that's going really well. So um I just got through the part where you do kind of a pretty extended period of time as Atreus
Yep.
in the Ironwood or something like that with
Oh,
with with a
I forget
girl.
her name, but I know who you
um
mean. Yeah.
and you like break the cauldron of her grandmother or whatever,
Oh yeah.
and you leave. And then I just did something with Freya, like uh she's no longer bound. Yeah, I untied the roots or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's exactly where I am. So
Okay.
I don't think I'm not too far. I've only gone to like one or two realms or whatever. But
Mhm.
man, I love a good get experience. Go down your skill tree, like
Yeah.
that's that we've talked about this. That's like my favorite thing. I love a good skill tree. And then you can go on to the next mission, or you can explore Alfheim for like,
Yeah,
yep, I'm doing that for
I'm doing
2 days.
that.
So yeah,
And
it's
I really feel like every new like ability or whatever like combo or whatever you unlock in those trees,
yeah,
it's just like it's so substantial, and it like is
yeah,
there. I feel like there's very little like throwaway abilities. Like, oh, I just need
yep.
to do this so I can get the next thing. I feel like
Every
all of it has like a very like obvious purpose, but it also like is a valuable tool that
yeah,
you're adding.
everyone I get, I was like, oh yeah, that seems good.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to do this, and I find some games don't pace it properly like that.
Right.
Like you're like, I have so many new abilities, and I haven't had a chance to sink my teeth into each one, and it's almost like analysis paralysis of I've got so many abilities and I can't do any of them right. But
Yeah.
if
And
you
when it's
learn,
like you don't get taught how to use them right if you
yeah,
get them
or
too quickly.
yeah, it's like I like a good game that kind of says, oh, I wish I couldn't. That thing's way the hell up there, and I clearly can't get that. Oh, I just learned this skill that allows me to
Yeah.
get things from really high up. Like use it, use it, use it. Okay, great. And then incorporated. Oh, now I learned a new thing, which is required to do the next step,
Yeah.
or types of enemies that will be easier with that new skill. So I think the pacing is really good there. The I it was a little tricky at first. I was very much FF16
Yeah.
um
Which is
I
much faster.
yeah, very much so. And like I feel like uh X is the kind of dodge button in this game, but it was
Sure.
circle in FF16. So I find myself being a little mixed up
Yeah.
still, just because like I really sunk my teeth into the combat of 16, but
Yeah.
it's um it's really good. And I'm just on like the I feel like regular difficulty or maybe one above regular, but I'm finding like it's challenging. Like
Yeah.
I die a lot.
Yep.
And just like, okay, I think I know what I need to do better in this next one.
Yeah, it
And I'm
never
just
never feels like cheap when you
yeah.
die in that game. Like it feels like, yep, I fucked up. Like,
Yeah,
you know, I
exactly.
know what I did, or I didn't focus that guy down first, or
Yeah.
yeah. I always felt like I didn't feel like I was, losing because of RNG or just dumb luck or anything like that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like it's harder than I thought it would be, but in a good way. I'm not getting like frustrated or like rage quitty or anything. But
Yeah.
and I really like just this is my jam, kind of the timing your block
Ugh.
to get a good either slam or throw the
Yeah.
projectile back, whatever. I'm pretty good at it, and it's really
Yeah, it
satisfying.
feels. I feel like the PS5 controller has some stuff added to that too. I think if I
Mm,
remember, like when you hit a good block or parry, it's like the haptic feedback or whatever on the controller. Like
yeah.
you feel those moments. When you get those like particular timings and stuff.
I also forgot how funny the dialogue is in this
Yeah.
game, especially the two dwarves.
Yep.
Like again, just good writing. Like
Ah,
everything they say, I'm just like, this writing is so good. It's
yep.
so funny. They're not saying anything hilarious, but they're like delivery, like the voice acting is so good.
Yeah.
And
It's a cut
that
above. Yeah. It's
yeah,
like it is absolutely like top tier the way they because it's like and I know this is like a thing that gets talked about all the time in both games or any kind of voiceover, but it's like it's so hard to fake like casual banter.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
hard to make it sound like you're just like off the cuff like
yep,
banter about something
yeah.
that doesn't sound fabricated, right? And I feel like, especially with them, there's a lot of that just ping pong back and forth of things they say, and it's just like, is this sound like real people? Like this does
Yeah.
not sound like a scripted video game when they're a lot
Exactly.
of
It's
times.
very natural. So anyway, their voice acting is top notch. Um, also I remember there's one where like I think it was when you were Atreus away in the Ironwood, and you come back, and you've apparently been gone for like 2 days. And Kratos, as soon as you try and come back
Oh
through, like it's just like angry dad, and it's like,
yeah.
oh boy, you are in trouble.
And you know when, because I think he, what's the dwarf's name, the one that's with
Oh,
you?
Sidri or something like that.
Sindri.
Sindri, yeah,
Sindri,
yeah.
yeah, okay. When he's like, because I think he tells you that it's been a long time, right? Like you
Mhm.
know before you get back to Kratos that you fucked up,
Yeah, yeah.
basically. So it's like
Oh,
I remember that. I do remember vividly, like progressing back to that like home base or whatever. We're just like, fuck. It's
yeah.
like this is not gonna be pretty.
And another time when you weren't gone quite so long, it was just like, where were you? And it was just like peeing. Yeah. It was just like, anyway, it was so funny. And But I'd say a few other things. In the Ironwood, when you kind of defeat the grandmother, and you're kind of going back, and it's a little bit sad because she her destiny is kind of like done or whatever, or her fate, and he kind of tries to cheer up, and then you get into this like cinematic of like you tune into your wolf or whatever, and she's like on a fox, and it's just like running through, the music swells,
Oh yeah, I remember that part. Yeah.
and just the camera work and everything. And it was just, I remember thinking, because we had talked about this, it was like a goosebump, like, this is why I play video games.
Yeah.
I just had this moment of just like, yes. Like just like, oh, this is so well done.
Yeah.
um
And it's
uh
one of those things that like it's like it's very specific to the video game media to
mhm.
have that kind of moment with a character that you've spent so much time with, like versus just a really cool scene in a movie, right?
Yep. No,
Um
there's a connection there.
yeah.
I feel like there's some psychology of, you're not, you're controlling it, mind you, it's just, this level of variation or whatever
Right.
on the screen, but you're just like, no, I'm doing this, I'm part of this, I'm
Yeah.
not just watching a movie. But
There's one
that was
thing
really cool.
about the original God of War, the 2018 one, and this one that I remember hearing like the director talk about the game, and I don't remember if we talked about this in the podcast, but like uh it is a very deliberate choice and effort to never cut the camera. And so if you're
Hmm.
watching while you're playing this game, the camera never cuts.
Hmm.
Um
Now that you say that, like, yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And it's like that is just like a very deliberate choice they made from
Hmm.
the beginning of the 2018 one to
Yeah.
just never stop the camera and cut to something else. It's
Hmm.
just one long continuous shot the entire game.
It makes you
Uh,
feel like you're there.
yeah, and it's
Yeah,
just yeah, you're just on this roller coaster the whole time, right?
yeah.
And so it's and some of the ways they do that, if you know that's what they're doing, you like you can kind of like see how they're doing these transitions such
Hmm.
that they don't have to cut away, and it's really cool. Um, so in the beginning, that first like 5 minutes when you're like on the sleds or whatever,
Freya,
just
she's just like,
insanity.
what's happening?
Yeah. Did you
It was
remember from the first game that like she hates you? Did you remember that?
not really. Like,
Okay.
it was nice that on the first screen there's like recap of God of War or whatever. So like, yeah, I definitely need this because I played this like years ago.
Okay.
So I couldn't. I was like, oh yeah, I feel like you kill her son or something, but it's like, and it was like, did I kill her? I don't know.
It,
Like I couldn't remember. Yeah,
it was essentially like he was trying to kill you. I think his name is Balder.
Balder. Yeah.
And then like you fight him, and then it's like I forget why, but like she wanted to let him kill her
Yeah.
because she thought it would be the only thing that would like make him happy or something. I can't remember exactly
Mhm.
why. And then like she tells you to don't to not interrupt or whatever, like I
Yeah.
want this, and you just because you haven't formed this bond with Freya that you're
Yeah.
like, no, I can't just stand by and watch. So then you kill him in front of
Yeah.
her, and then
Yeah.
she's like hates you for it because you
Yeah.
killed
Yeah.
her son. And anyway, and so yeah, she's just like she is coming in hot, coming after
Well,
you.
the thing that was really funny was I booted it up and I had the foresight to be like, okay, I bought this a little while ago, so load it up, check for updates, like because when I sit down to play this, I don't want to be like, you have an hour to
Right.
whatever. So it's like, okay, had this all set, sat down, opening screen, like, oh, okay, there's a recap of the first one. That's great. It's like, but I'm like super in Ever Crisis right now. So I was like, okay, I just have like a few things to do on Ever Crisis. So and I just left it on the screen where he just like him sitting at a fire, but it's like an active screen of him just sitting there. It's kind of cool. And then playing Ever Crisis for a bit. It's like, okay, there, done. All my synthesis is set up and whatever. Go. And then just like, boom, like, whoa, okay, hold on. Coming in hot. You were just hanging out by fire 2 seconds ago, and now like this going on. But I was just like, okay, this game like comes in hard kind of thing. But and then
and just visually too, just that whole sequence is incredible.
Oh
like
man,
the animation and like when she comes in and like she's like turned into a bird or something.
Yeah,
so cool, man.
I was just like, okay, here we go. Icon fights level here. Like and then like I'm not 10 minutes into the game, and then you come home and Fenrir is dying. 10 minutes in the game, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ. I'm just like, come on, I don't know you guys yet. Like I'm just like, how am I getting like I'm like crying in like the first 10 minutes of this game? Like, come on. Anyways, that was really sad.
And then you get the whole thing where you find out that like Atreus essentially turned into that bear that you were fighting. That was insane. That fight, I remember.
I like this. Oh, and I forgot, and I think they used the same animation in the first one. When you fight those wolf things, one of like the R3, they're almost dead finishers is just like grab them out.
Yeah, and just yeah.
I was like, this game does not fuck around.
No, the game has Kratos has no chill.
No chill, zero chill. This game is down to 11 constantly. Or out of nowhere, 0 to 11, like without any warning. But anyway, it's really fun, really enjoying it. I haven't had a chance to play it any this week, but hoping for our American listeners, our Canadian Thanksgiving was on Monday. So it's I got a full day of playing it then, which is really, really nice. So excited to play some more this weekend.
I'm trying to think. I thought there was another part I was gonna mention. You got to the part where you play as Atreus.
Yeah, there have been 2 times where I played as Atreus. I really like playing as Atreus. I mean, Kratos is awesome.
Yeah.
But it's very Aloy-esque, like bow and arrow and stuff like that. And I find myself I like a ranged character. Like I like to kind of like be away and just like picking them off, like sniping kind of thing. So I dig using his character a lot, but nothing beats Kratos slamming an axe all around.
Like holding R2 in that game is like one of the best moves.
So frequently, yeah.
So
I do
good.
it constantly, and like it's as satisfying on time 200 as it was on the first one.
It never gets old. And then there's like that one move. I don't know if you start with it in the second game or if you learn it because it was in the first game, where you throw the axe and you like call it while you're jumping in the air and then you slam down with it.
You get it later.
You must get it later. I know you for sure had it in the first game, so I couldn't remember if it carried over. That's like one of my favorite like go-tos. It just feels so good to like land that. Yeah, and
The
just the sound design, like oh, that's what I was gonna say. So you did this is pretty early where you like meet you run like have your run in with like Thor
oh yeah,
and
yeah,
like Odin.
yeah,
And like that was like so intense. Like
yeah,
just them like coming into your house and like sitting down and like talking to you.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
holy shit, I was like because like Kratos was like you say one wrong thing, he will murder you. He will lose his shit.
Yeah. It's funny too. It's like, we're approaching 40 here, and I'm just like, no, those are men talking. I'm not a man. These are like they're sitting at the table. He has like, I don't know, some corked thing, and just like and then like yeah, just all this like grunting and anger. You could like
Oh,
the
so good.
tension there, and just like I never have conversations like that. Like just like Thor walks into your door, and Odin, and you're just trying to conflict resolution
Yeah.
with the gods, and it's just like, yeah,
And that's like the first 10. That's like I think that's right after the whole Fenrir thing when
yeah, yeah,
when all the or no, you do the thing with Atreus in the bear, I think first, right?
yeah. The bear thing is pretty early on,
Yeah, and then when you get back, maybe is when that conversation happens. But then it
but
leads
like
into that fight with
that
Thor.
that whole time is just like, you could cut the tension with a butter knife here. And then something was said not good, and then just
I think Odin was just like, all right, like he offered him like some kind of
peace.
like peace or whatever, and he's like, no, I was like, I
Yeah,
don't, because it's like, it wasn't. I think it was Kratos' whole thing was like he doesn't want to be like indebted to a god or something,
yeah, yeah,
and then they
yeah.
just
And it's
immediately start fighting.
so it's just like, okay, here's my proposal, and like kind of on paper sounds pretty good, like take the deal. And he's just like, no, and then it's like,
All right, kill him.
like
Yeah.
it's just like, I see. Yeah.
And
Anyway,
so one thing I learned that I didn't know this before because I didn't really play the original God of War games. I think I played 3
me neither. Yeah,
because it was like a PS3 like showpiece. Um, but so the reason why Kratos is like white skinned like that,
yeah.
like permanently,
Hmm.
it's like God, I'm not gonna remember the specific names. I forget who it was, but in like the first God of War, or like even before this, he like swore like allegiance or something to one of like the Greek gods. Might have been the God of War actually.
Hmm.
I don't remember. I really can't remember the name. Um, and it's like they offered him like a lot of power, but it's like I think he just like lost himself a little bit in it, in like
Hmm.
this like power drunkenness that he was in.
Yeah.
And it's like ultimately I can't remember. I think I forget if he killed his wife and child or he didn't save them from getting killed. I forget what it is, but it's like he is directly responsible for them
He
dying.
blames himself. Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
the white skin, and it's like those are the ashes of his
Mm.
wife, of his dead wife and son. They're
Okay.
like
Yeah.
they're cursed or something that, so it's like he can never like forget what he did or whatever. That's like the super abridged version because I watched the whole
Yeah.
thing where someone was like looking back at the original God of War and did a whole deep dive on the story. And I did not know that's why he's like white skinned, like so pale like that. It's like that's literally the ashes of his wife and son. I think it was son, not daughter. That like he either killed or did or let them be killed for his continued power.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so like that's why like when like Odin offers him this deal, he's like, "Fuck you."
No.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
never again kind of thing, right? Especially now that he has Atreus,
Yeah.
and he's already lost his wife, his new wife. So it's just like, yeah, that's why he's like so anti like deals with the gods
Debts
because
with the
it's
gods. Yeah.
yeah, Yeah, because they fucked him up real good mentally.
Oh man, it's just so good. It's such a strong character and good story, and I also just really like it's yeah, it's a video game and things are embellished or whatever, but like just learning about all these gods and
Yeah,
especially Norse gods or Greek gods
and
and
at
all this
least
kind
like
of,
even if it's just their version of those gods, because like
yeah,
that will change from one franchise to another, like the way they interpret it, and so it's like you understand, like we have an idea of who Odin and Thor is
Mhm.
from many different versions of those, but it's really
Mhm.
fun to see. And there's some really cool sort of fun facts or Easter eggs about this Odin that as you get farther, I'll try to remember to bring up.
Yeah,
But yeah, the biggest thing about this Odin is that he lies. He's like you
yeah,
cannot trust this Odin, and
yeah,
like that's because I think Freya was his husband, his wife,
yeah,
and so she hates him because and you find out like stuff he did to her and stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
but
Oh, it's
it's
just
just fun.
awesome. I like learning all this stuff, and especially like it's all about legends and anyway, it's especially oh, what's his name, the head that you bring
Oh,
around,
Mimir.
Mimir. Yeah,
Yeah,
just he just always has stories, especially in the
in the
the Yggdrasil loading screen, or when you're
on your
running around
sled or your
sled or
boat or
canoe.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's really well done. Just learning little stories. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm loving it. So
good. Yeah,
yeah,
and I knew you would. It's just like you said, you just got to make time for it eventually, and
yeah, yeah.
um, you know, but that's also a game that I literally. It wasn't a game that I could just play for like 8 straight hours. Like I had to take breaks
Yeah,
because it's
yeah,
so intense, and
yeah.
it's like I think I would play like it's not chapter based, right? It doesn't divide into chapters.
Not at least so far
No,
anyway. So
okay, I don't
no.
think it does. But I would just like it'd probably be like 2 or 3 hours a night, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. It's like
Yeah,
I'm gonna put this down, and because it's so intense, and it's like watching like an HBO show sometimes, where it's just like that's enough info to take in for one night,
yep,
like a 3 hour episode basically of something that's that intense.
yep.
So I definitely savored that one a little more over a longer period of time.
Other thing that never gets old: opening a chest.
Sure, yeah.
uh, and then an awesome little whatever Easter egg, whatever you might call it. When the first time you use Atreus and you go to open a chest, he tries that, and it's just like
Right.
it's a,
Yeah.
like oh god damn it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I remember that.
I was just like, I saw a chest and I was like, please try to open it the way Kratos does, and like delivered exactly what I wanted. I was like, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I wanted to see. um,
It's funny because like I love little Easter eggs like that in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Normally, if there's like a small chest on the ground, you just like kick it and it opens.
mm,
And if you remove your boots, that any kind of armored boots, so you're walking around
yeah.
barefoot, he'll kick it and he'll like and he'll just like grab his foot. It's like it's such a stupid little detail, but like they had the foresight to think about that and program that animation into it. If
Oh,
you
that's
tried to
awesome.
kick it, so yeah, stuff like that. I love little details like that, like him trying to do Kratos's version and like hurting himself.
Yeah, yeah. I was just like, that's exactly what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
No, that was good.
Cool. Well, yeah, we'll definitely be checking in again once you get a little further in, because yeah, that game. And there's like you remember like the Valkyries in the first game, how there's just
Oh
like
yeah,
you know placed throughout the different realms and stuff. There's
yeah.
like a version. There's another thing like that where there's like these kind of side
Things.
bosses that you run
Yeah, yeah.
into, and they can get pretty fun. Um,
I
uh,
remember like the Queen of the Valkyries or whatever in the
oh,
previous one. That fight. You and I talked about this. I don't think we talked about it on the pod, but or no, of course not. But like that was like if you weren't perfect, start over.
for like 12
Like, yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. Sorry, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I saved a recording of that.
That's why I thought the pod for a sec, because I remember you had a recording of you doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once in a while I'll just like go back and rewatch at least the like last couple minutes of it.
Mhm.
And it's like it's funny watching it when I hadn't, I think, when I had watched it again pre Ragnarok, or maybe it was after a while after Ragnarok, but it's like when I wasn't familiar with the controls, like I
Mm,
wasn't fresh off the game, and I'm
yeah.
like watching, like how do they do all these things? Like I don't
Yeah.
remember, and it's like you're just so in it by that point in the game, right? Because it's like one of the last things you do.
Oh yeah.
And man,
Yeah.
those fights were so fucking fun. Like,
Yeah. Oh
oh, it's
yeah.
just so, and it's like it was
And
all
then
just like you have to react to what she's gonna do, because if she does this, blocking doesn't work. If she does
yeah.
this, dodging doesn't work. If she does this, that's your only chance to actually open her up and get attacks in.
Yeah.
And it's just like, God damn it. And like saving your rage for when you're low on health so that
Health.
you
Yeah.
heal. Oh my God, that fight was so good. And there are similar fights in this game that are like, equally as satisfying.
Oh, good.
Because
I
at that point, sorry,
no.
it's just at that point when you're so tuned into the combat and like the controls,
Mm,
it's like there's just nothing like that in a game when a game pushes back, like pushes back to that level when you're so tuned in and you know exactly what you're doing, you just have to execute it.
yeah.
Um, there's just nothing like that feeling. I love it so
I
much.
I feel like I've been like 10 minutes into that fight and I was like, oh, I threw my axe and my crosshair was a millimeter off. Start over.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
sure.
this is Gong Show. I'm done.
Yeah.
Um, and the reward of beating them and ripping the wings off or
So
whatever the
good.
hell. You're
Yeah.
just like, yes, yes. Yeah. Um, anyway, yeah, pretty rewarding.
Yeah.
Anyway, game's been super awesome so far. I've been, especially like I got to the with all the elves and remembering like, oh yeah, like how annoying these guys are, especially the dark ones. But how rewarding it is to like counter or something on them. Like
And there's that
yeah.
one like killing animation. I think it's for those specifically, where I don't know, you like knock them up in the air and they're like horizontals, and you're just like, and you just like cut them in two or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, or yeah, you like knock them out and you just like uppercut and just like cut them in half, and it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, those some of those finishing moves are just so satisfying. That game is so good. If it wasn't so long, I would revisit it, but I don't have time between the next couple games. I'll go back to it at some point because,
Yeah.
yeah, that combat in that game, when everything clicks, it just feels so good. And even like the music and everything. Oh, that's what I was gonna say before. Like the sound design of all the hits and the different weapons and like all
Yeah.
those finishing move kills or whatever. Like when you like rip that wolf's mouth open, it's just like that gooey like kind of
Yeah.
sound, like it's just so visceral, like, oh God,
I
yeah.
remember like when you're setting things up before you start, you can choose like there's an option of just like soft, normal, and loud. And
Oh,
I
for
was just like
audio.
audio, yeah, and I was just like loud.
Yeah.
Put my headphones on and it's like, why the hell not?
Yeah.
Why would anyone want anything other than this?
Yeah.
So every like action, whatever, is just like anyway, it's awesome. That the sound design's really good.
So like speaking of just like being like super tuned into the controls and stuff, so of course I have to mention that because I did finish my replay through of 7 Remake
Oh, okay.
And Intergrade.
Okay.
And I feel like because I only played Intergrade, the intermission, the Yuffie story, I only played that the one time. I did it the one and then the hard mode for the trophy. Um, but I hadn't gone back and replayed that part because I actually haven't, I just haven't played 7 again since Intergrade came out. And I feel like I just understood how to play Yuffie so much better this time. and
Hmm.
like how to weave back and forth. Excuse me. Like just how to transition back and forth from like close up and range. And anyway,
Yep. And I
I just
feel
feel
like you could you could stagger people really well if you go back and forth with Sonon or something.
if you do the synergy moves or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
yeah, that was better for
yeah,
pressuring, and then
yeah,
yeah, and so I was doing the Ramu fight in the VR, and it's like I remember struggling on that a lot my first
yeah,
because you're just learning Yuffie, like you get that VR mission like pretty early, and I
yeah.
think I like came back later with Sonon
Hmm.
and leveled up a
Yeah,
bit and then did that. And I was like, so this time I was like, no, like it's giving it to me immediately. I'm gonna do it immediately.
yeah,
Like solo Yuffie. And just like probably because this time when I did it, I played all the way through 7 Remake and then I played this. So
yeah,
I'm just like the remake combat in general. I was more kind of tuned into it.
yeah,
Um, and it still took me like 4 or 5 attempts, but like I was able to kill him with it when you can, as soon as you have the opportunity to
yeah,
challenge him. And
yeah.
it's because I was just because like there's like one
Dialed.
part where he summons the like sparks around, and if you
Yep,
don't kill them fast enough, it charges his like judgment bolt faster or something. And
yep,
so it's like he'd throw those, and it's like you triangle, like you target one of them,
yeah,
triangle again to zoom into it, kill it, and just like teleport.
yep.
I was like, God damn it, this combat is so good.
Yeah, you'd be so much fun to.
Yeah,
I remember once you get it with her,
yeah,
and especially the throw it and then be drawn to it, like
yeah.
the possibilities are open up
Because
when you understand how to use her.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you like throw it and like do a couple ninjutsu, like attacks or
Mhm.
whatever, then teleport in, attack, and if you hold square while you're in melee mode, she'll like uppercut, backflip away. Then you can
Yep.
throw it again, ninjutsu, and it's just like, oh my god, she's so fun to control. I can't even imagine how you're gonna have what 6 of them:
Oh man, and just
Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, Barrett, Red, Yuffie, and then Kate Sith,
yeah, yeah.
all in Rebirth, and they all feel so unique. And then you have that added layer of like those
The
synergy
synergy
attacks.
stuff. Oh, it game over. I might just quit my job.
It's gonna be.
Like,
I booked
uh,
like I think I booked like so it comes out on the 29th, and I booked, look at my calendar. So the 29th, so I'm gonna start playing it like the 28th, at 2 a.m. or whatever.
yeah.
And I booked until the uh 8th of March off. So I have like a full week and like a couple days
Oh man,
for that game when it comes out. Um,
I can't
and
wait.
everything I've been watching, it's like
I,
I'm
I've
I really don't know if I want to watch. I think I'll watch the next trailer, maybe, and then I'm not reading anything else. But I might even skip the next trailer because it's literally 4 months away. Like it's not far, and I know they're gonna show some big crazy shit in the next trailer, and it's like I think I don't want to see it because I want to just have my hair blown back when I'm playing it and it happens.
yeah, I all over Twitter and things like that. I'm just kind of like, there's so much like game footage right now. I like the demo that was at Tokyo Game Show maybe or something.
So there was two
Yeah.
things. There was like media outlets and stuff got to do like a like a demo
And it's
where
like you do like a Nibelheim thing or a
yeah.
Junon thing maybe or
So there was two
something. Yeah.
demos. So I actually talked about this a little bit with Brad, who I had on the last side quest
Oh
before,
yeah,
because
yeah,
he
yeah.
got to play that demo.
Yeah.
And so it was the Nibelheim flashback,
Hmm. Yeah.
and then the outside Junon, like making your way to Junon, and I think it
Yeah.
ended with the fight, that weird serpent thing you fight underneath Junon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then at Tokyo Game Show, they did like a 30-minute uncut gameplay of it. I'm pretty sure it was
Okay.
like mostly right as you leave Column, and
Yeah.
then you make your way to wherever you go to the Chocobo farm and some other
Yeah.
places. Um, but so there's
And
like a good 30-minute chunk of a lot of stuff. There's towers in this game. I don't know if you saw this,
what do you
but
mean? Sorry.
there's like towers, like Horizon, like
Oh, okay. Oh, I
activate
see.
this tower to get like points of interest, and it's like
Oh, wow. Wow.
it's like Chadley. That's how
Yep.
it's you're
Oh,
helping him with
okay.
his research or whatever.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Um,
Oh, man.
and yeah, and it's just like there's like you find these little baby chocobos, and they lead you to like little sort of chocobo stops, kind of like there's some of them in 7 remake, like along the roads.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you repair the sign that's knocked over, because the chocobo chick leads you to it, then you fix the sign, and then that unlocks like fast travel
Fast
point.
travel. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
and
man.
just yeah, there's a lot
So
of
like,
gameplay out there right now.
and I've seen a bunch of this, and I was like, am I seeing like black market stuff? Like, am I
Yeah,
supposed to be able to
yeah,
see this?
that was all TGS stuff.
So I watched kind of the full Nibelheim flashback thing because like it's like the best part of the game. And but then all the Junon, and I was like, I feel like I'm watching too much. Like I was
know.
channeling you a bit where I was like,
Yeah.
what, I shouldn't know all of this.
Yeah.
Like this.
So that's I did skip. I didn't watch much of the Nibelheim flashback because
Yeah.
I know that's the opening thing. That's like when you start the game. It's going to be
Oh,
starting
okay.
in the flashback. It's like
Okay.
because it's like there's a bunch of tutorials. Like it teaches you how the battle
True.
system works.
Yeah. True.
Which is like I feel like that's a perfect like
Yep.
prologue chapter, like tutorial chapters, like Cloud
Yeah.
on his one of his first missions or whatever, even though it's not Cloud.
Yeah.
And so if you watch some of that, this is one thing that Brad pointed out in the last episode was like,
There's
like
the soldier with the helmet on, always right there. Which is
that,
Cloud. Yeah.
yeah, and Zach or Cloud is literally acting like Zach.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say this. I was like, Cloud is like super.
He's like, like he's all happy and like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like 100% because that's just, and I never like there were things I knew would be so enhanced playing this version of 7. I think we talked
instead
about
of OG.
right,
Yeah.
and we talked about this like it was like back when we finished 7 is like because like we know that Tifa knows something's wrong.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she knows he wasn't there and whatever.
Yeah.
And so I remember talking to you about like it'll be so cool to see with the technology available with voice acting and motion capture to see like how uncomfortable she looks when he's telling this story or like how she doubts what he's saying because you just can't capture that in OG7 with those models without obvious dialogue, right?
Yeah.
And that was one thing that this Zach Cloud behavior thing is one of those things that I didn't even think like, oh yeah, of course he's literally projecting him onto Zach's body.
Yeah.
Like very literally doing that.
And when I was watching it, at first I was like, and now this is a deep dive, but it's like, oh, okay, yeah. At first it was like, oh yeah, Cloud is very uncloud like in this, and I was like, just because he's young, he's all jaded now and
Sure.
but like this is just young. I get to go on a mission with Sephiroth, and like this is so cool. And then I was like, wait, no, this isn't like Cloud's always been angsty. Like
sure, yeah.
Like it's like this doesn't track because Kid Cloud at the water tower is just as angsty and jaded as current Cloud.
Yeah.
So like why would he have this like oh, the world is sunshine and rainbows transition as soldier? It's like, oh no, that's Zach. This is over the top, annoyingly positive Zach. But with Cloud's voice. And it's like, yeah, this is total Cloud's brain is broken and literally has assumed his identity even in his own like he's convinced himself that this is true. Right. Like so I was like, yeah, this is just Zach with Cloud's voice, which is so well done.
I can't. So that made me so excited for all those little beats that and I know there's more that I'm not even
Mm.
thinking about right now of that will just be portrayed so much better, like with the, the technology of this game, like to be able to tell
Yeah.
these stories better. And like I said, and like even like I'm excited to see some of that flashback stuff of when they eventually learn like what really happened to like, because like Cloud and Tifa weren't like best friends. Like she like kind of ignored him, and like he was
Yeah.
all jealous that like none of the kids in the town would like be his friend or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and so it'll be really cool to just like see more of that, but in this new form of storytelling, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, just all the moments that he gets like this weird PTSD, or like I literally can't wait. And you hear some of the dialogue in one of the trailers where Tifa's already questioning it, and it sounds like she's talking to Aerith, being like, yeah,
Yeah.
something's not right here. Like
Yeah.
he was never there 5 years ago or whatever. And
Uh,
it's just
I,
gonna be, but anyway,
I
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I like this is stating the obvious, but like, I just love the story of FF7 so goddamn much.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like it's almost just like I know it so well because yeah, it's the story to FF7. Like, how does everyone not know? Like, it's just such a
Yeah.
and
But it's
and
so
and in,
complex.
so it's so complex, and I'm just like very proud to know very like intricate details because it just helps me like appreciate like who wrote this, like
Yeah, I know.
who said like, oh yeah, you go through the whole game and then you realize no, this guy like went through all this crap and his brain's broken and
Yeah, it's like the unreliable narrator. Like,
yeah, and it's just uh, like, oh, Sephiroth has actually been dead this whole time, and and it's like who thought this up? Like, just
yeah.
brilliant. I love that story so much, so much. Like,
And
because
I think I read or saw someone talking about, and I don't know if this is true, but it would make sense that when you kill Cloud in the flashback, because that does actually happen. It's just Cloud comes in out, he takes his uniform off and comes in and kills him or whatever. And he throws him down in like the reactor.
yeah,
And I think I read that like that's how Sephiroth actually ends up in the Northern Crater.
Northern
He gets
Crater,
sucked
yeah,
up in the, and
yeah,
I honestly didn't even put that together until like a week ago when someone was talking like, oh, that's why, because I always found it weird. Like, well, how long has that Sephiroth been there? And the one in the flashback didn't seem like a clone. He's just having an
yeah,
identity crisis because he thinks he's a clone or
yeah.
whatever. Like, and it's just I don't know. Someone said that. It might have been Maximilian dude might have said that, and I was like, oh shit! How did I not I didn't realize this.
Yeah, I think
Um,
of it like, Cloud summoned some strength, and kind of
because he did do
uh
like he did have the test done to him, right?
yeah, exactly. So he was I think that was after
Or wait, no, they experimented on him
after he
they
had injured he was injured by
right.
Sephiroth. Yeah. Um but
He
in any case,
Yeah, he must have had. I can't
I think
remember if he tried to join Soldier, but it didn't work. So he got like the Mako injection, but it like you know what I'll have to do? I'll have to go look at Crisis Core Reunion and look at his eyes when you
yeah,
meet
fair.
Cloud to see if they're that same color yet or not. I really can't remember,
Um
but anyway.
but anyway, kind of, yeah, gets thrown down into, the Mako, the life stream, or, whatever you want to call it, kind of thing. And I think that's just kind of how he gets to the Northern Crater, just via currents,
Yeah,
currents in the Mako,
yeah.
whatever. But anyway, I just love it so much. The Sephiroth like connection, Hojo, how he's connected,
Yeah.
Professor Gast and Ifalna and like all sorts of stuff. There's just everyone's so interconnected. Wu Tai and the war. Anyway, there's
And
just so many layers there.
I
Uh,
also heard or read that there was like this weird, like I think it was like a mobile game. Like this was like around Advent Children. So it was like a very primitive mobile game,
Yeah.
but it was just like a story. Like, what was it called? Like, I want to say Ever Crisis, but no, that's the new one. But it was like, I feel like the word crisis is in it, but I can't remember. Anyway, it was a very short, like mobile game or something, and it was about Avalanche, I think, and or the
Oh.
Turks, and apparently Avalanche was essentially created by Rufus because he wanted them to eventually overthrow his father so he could take over the
Oh man.
company. And it's like some super deep lore like that, but I forget the exact details. But I'm pretty sure it was like he was in talks with, or he planted someone to start Avalanche in Wutai, knowing that they could eventually like overthrow President Shinra or something. And
I love it so much.
I
It's
know.
just such
It's
so good.
so
Anyway,
rich.
I can't wait. I just can't wait. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It was inevitable.
Yeah, yeah. Final Fantasy Light episode, eh?
Yeah. Goddamn. I don't know how we started. Okay. We can take a super quick break. Now that we're done with God of War, and then we'll talk about Hi-Fi Rush and Doom Eternal. And then I might have something at the end that we can play a little game. But yeah, let's take a super short break, and we'll be back right after that.
Beauty.
Cool.
See you in a sec.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Let's continue our discussion. So yeah, we talked inevitably about Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth for like 20 minutes, but that's just how it is here. I have a little game that we can play at the end that is also Final Fantasy related, so we'll do that at the end. So yeah, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, this little window I have between like Armored Core and Spider-Man and Mario. In order to fill that, I wanted to revisit 2 games. So one of which is Hi-Fi Rush. So this was a really cool. The way this game happened was really interesting. So it's made by I think it's Tango Gameworks is the name of the company. I hope I'm getting that right. But they've done like, I think they did like Evil Within, like they've done some like survival horror games and some like more like kind of darker games like that. And then in comes this like super jolly Saturday morning cartoon looking game. And they also just like, they showed the game off and they're like, I'll get into what it's about. But like, yeah, here's this game we've been working on. It's out now and it's only $40. Here you go. It was like, what? Like, this doesn't happen. So, because that happened in like, I think it was like late January. And I had picked it up. Once I saw what the game was, and I think I watched a stream of it for like 5 minutes. I was like, okay, like I want this game now, please. So like I went and bought it and played it. But it was like right at the end of, I think I picked it up in February, and I think that would have been right before Octopath 2 came out. And then it was just like Octopath 2, Resident Evil 4. It was just a nonstop
blinded. Yeah.
Into Tears of the Kingdom, into Final Fantasy 16. Like, yeah, it's crazy. So it got a little.
Life is hard.
Yeah, this is not easy to do. Okay, let's have a little respect for my time. And it's like I beat the game. It's it's $40 game, so it's not super long. I think it was probably like 14 hours or something to finish the campaign, with lots of extra stuff to do. But so it's like Devil May Cry. I don't think you've played any Devil May Cry games, but it's very Devil May Cry / like Bayonetta, and like not quite Revengeance because it's not quite that intense. But it's like that style of like action, or like more like Nier Automata kind of combat. But it's all rhythm based. And it's like part of the story is like your main character, he gets like operated on because I think he had to get his arm amputated or replaced or something. And in this like very Saturday morning
video game logic.
It doesn't matter. And it's like in the very Saturday morning cartoon coincidence way of things, he gets like an MP3 player like embedded in his chest accidentally or something, and it like powers him up. But like in the thing, because it's like all like music player based, the entire game and everything in the world that you see, as you control him, it all goes to the rhythm of music.
Yeah.
So combat is all rhythm based. If you see like trees in the background like blowing in the wind, they're like blowing to like the beat of the music. Like little, it has the little like comic book sort of text for like, things hitting the ground, or just
Yeah.
like smoke coming out of a manhole or whatever, and like all that stuff's to the rhythm of the music that's playing.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like, so yeah, like not only so like all everything in the environment moves to the music. So the way the way they solve this problem is really smart, because like I've played other like rhythm based like games that aren't rhythm games but use rhythm as part of the gameplay, hook. And the thing that is tough about those is if you get off rhythm, it's number one, it can be hard to get kind of reset back to the beat, and
Yeah.
it becomes very unsatisfying to play when you fall out of sync
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So it's great when it all works, but it's hard and frustrating sometimes when you fall out of sync. And the way this game handles it is like, if you hit like the basic attack button, he won't attack until the next beat. So it's like you can't attack outside of the rhythm. It'll like queue up the attack for the next beat to
Interesting.
hit. But when you do like combos, the like last hit of your combo, which is usually like 3 or 4 hits, and then a finisher, it's like you get this like ring, like a green circle and a red ring,
Yeah.
and that if you hit that on the beat correctly, then it does like more damage, or gives you
Extra.
more
Yeah.
of your you have like a meter you can burn on special abilities and stuff, and so it rewards you more for doing that last hit of a combo right, but it doesn't mess you up if you're mashing out of sync for the normal attacks leading up to that,
Okay.
which I think is just a really elegant solution to that, because that way it always at least looks and sounds satisfying, because it's all going to the rhythm of the music. And then even in cutscenes, when stuff is happening, it's all you like. The music is sometimes a little more muted when a cutscene is happening, but you can still hear like the drums or the beat or the bass, and it's like there's like you're fighting this giant robot like boss fight, and it like pulls up like its shoulder mounted rocket launcher, and it's like the beats going, and like it's like
Yeah.
it like all goes to the beat of the music that's playing,
So
like as
cool.
the rockets are being loaded or whatever. And like, so like literally everything in this game is happening to the rhythm of the music, and it's like, it sounds so simple, but it's like it really is so fun to play. And the cutscenes are there's a reason I call it like a Saturday morning cartoon sort of vibe, is like it is genuinely funny, and it could have like, you could easily see this as like an episodic like cartoon. Like it
Awesome.
genuinely is. The characters are so great, and it's just genuinely like, I actually laughed out loud multiple times while playing this game, because it just got the humor like perfect. Also has side note, it has Erica Lindbeck is one of the main like your support characters. She's like your sidekick essentially, and she always delivers. So her character is phenomenal.
She has such a good voice.
Yeah, she does such a good job, and it's like she's like kind of a techie, like she's very Jessie from FF7. Like she's very techie and kind of cocky, and so yeah, she suits that role really well. So yeah, all the attacks when you're fighting, it all goes to the rhythm, and it even like does these little like there's like these vocals that are like chanting your name when you do land the perfect hits and stuff, and it's just like it all adds to the to the music, the enjoyment of the music of an encounter. The boss fights, there's like some of them are just straight up boss fights, but then some of them have like these little like mini rhythm games within them, where it's like this boss gets on the other side of the arena and starts launching, I think she's like throwing these big steel beams at you, but they come in like 3 lanes, and so it's all going to the rhythm of the music, and you're just like left, right, dodging or whatever. And then there's this one that's like, because you have, you have a parry ability,
Yeah.
and the other thing is that like all of the enemies' attacks also land in rhythm. So it's like even if like there's a lot happening, almost every enemy attack has an audio cue, like a half beat before they actually land their attack on the next beat. And it's like if there's a lot happening and you just hear that button, like you know when to hit block and you'll parry that attack with even if you know you
You don't
can't
know what's
quite make
going
it.
on.
Right.
Yeah,
Like if
yeah, yeah.
someone's shooting at you off screen, it'll make a little sound before it shoots, and if you parry those, it like deflects and hits them back or whatever.
Wow,
Um,
that's very satisfying.
yeah, yeah, and it's like to get all those, and then when you get the little circle combo finisher, you can use the like assist button, and it calls in one of your companions, and they attack on the rhythm and do a fancy move, and you like the one of your sidekicks is good at removing enemy shields. One of them is good at removing enemy armor, and one of them is good at putting out fire. So it's like flamethrower enemies and stuff. And so you're switching between those and picking when to call those out. But so one of like the boss fights is like it's just you and like the boss kind of walking in a circle, and it's like this like duel, and it's like you're essentially trying to talk her talk her down without fighting her, but then you like realize like your main character is just so obnoxious that it's like he isn't capable of intelligently talking her down, so just make her really mad so she attacks you, and then you can wear her out by blocking all of her attacks. So you just have like a few seconds of like banter, which is really good, and then she'll jump back, and when like mini boss type enemies are like on low health, they'll sort of put you in this sort of like standoff sort of state. They'll take a step back, and you'll see a little meter above their head, and there's like a symbol for blocking and a symbol for dodging. And it's like they'll hit in a rhythm like 5 hits, like 4 hits and a dodge. So it's like you'll see those icons are gonna come out in the rhythm that they're gonna attack you with. So it's like he's like do dodge, and then it's like okay, and wait, and then he's gonna come in and he's gonna do it in that exact rhythm. So it's like block, dodge, and that's what that whole boss fight is. It's just you getting her mad, then she backs up, does the little symbols, and sometimes she'll do like 4 in a row, and you just like keep on the rhythm, and like the music during this boss fight just keeps adding like an extra layer every phase, and it's like I remember when that fight was done, I was like, on paper it's a very simple boss fight. You literally are just blocking and dodging when it prompts you to, but the whole back and forth and banter and like the way the music escalates and her attacks get faster and she does more waves of attacks at once, it's just like when that boss fight was done, I was like, that was fucking cool. Like, and like the soundtrack for the game is on Spotify, and I added that boss track just to my normal playlist. And when that comes on, it's like I have this very like vivid like memory of that, how good that fight felt. And on my replay when I got to that, I was like, yeah, this boss fight is still so fucking cool.
Oh man, awesome.
It's just very satisfying to hit, and it's like there's just like, I won't remember the exact quote, but it's like he's talking to her like because she's being lied to by her boss, right? And you're trying to talk her into like joining you essentially, and he's like making these good points, like he wouldn't send you here if he believed you had a chance or whatever. He's just throwing you under the bus or whatever. And then like your companions are like just talking to you like remotely, like, oh wow, he's doing a really good job convincing. He's like, only you're too stupid to see it. It's like, she just comes at you again. It's like, I don't know. It's just like, it's very charming the way that it's written. And it's like, it is genuinely funny.
Nice.
And just moments like that, like just had me laughing, and just add to the stakes of that fight. But yeah, it's like all of the comments. So I mentioned you have a dodge, like that's not just during those little standoff moments. It's like during normal gameplay, and all those like, so even when you're just traversing the level, it's like if you dodge, it'll dodge on rhythm. But if you like, you can like chain your dodges together to do 3 at a time if you do them in rhythm. If you're just spamming it, it won't do it. But
Yeah,
if you just
yeah,
like dodge, 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 he like does 3 different dodges, and it does a little like cymbal sort of like tap every time you dodge on rhythm, and it feels very good to just going through the level. It's like
yeah.
doing these like dodges like everywhere. And then you do those in battle, and you get like a grappling hook, and that like shoots on a half beat, pulls you on the beat, and then the sound of it recoiling on the half beat after, like it all follows the rhythm of the music.
Oh, I
And
love that.
yeah.
This is a cool uh further amalgamation of our love of video games and video game music. Well, make a video game
Yeah,
based on video game music kind of
that
thing.
makes it
Yeah,
like a key component, to the game.
yeah,
Um, and
cool.
so unfortunately, this one is not on PlayStation because but it's published by
Steam or
Bethesda, which is owned by Microsoft now.
okay,
But when you come home for Christmas, that's probably one I'll get you to
awesome,
just try a little bit, because like it is genuinely very fun.
super
Um,
cool.
and yeah, so I've just been replaying that, and yeah, it was like came out of nowhere. Like, yeah, it's available. Like, no one had heard about this game at all, and
Hmm.
they're like, it was like a developer showcase with a bunch of Microsoft's or Xbox stuff, and like, oh yeah, here's what Tango GameWorks, I think is what they're called. It's like, here's what they've been working on. They showed this big trailer, like, and it was like, holy shit, this looks, because it's all like cell shaded too, like it's very got that
Yeah,
cartoon aesthetic.
that's kind of what I pictured it as, to be honest, without
Yeah,
knowing anything about it. Yeah.
and it looks so good. Like the visuals style of it is perfect. And it's like, yeah, it's like you're watching this trailer, like, holy shit, this game looks cool. Like, yeah, and available now. Go ahead, buy it, please.
Yeah.
And like, so anyway, it's just really cool, and it's like not a full price game, like just a $40, well, 40 for us. Might have been like 45 Canadian, but yeah,
Wow. Very cool.
it is excellent, and it's got a lot of licensed music. So I don't remember some of them off the top of my head, but I know like the Prodigy, I think, was one of the songs of one of the levels.
Yeah.
And I know I recognize names, but I don't remember them right now. There's a lot of original music too, but it's got a lot of licensed music in there, especially for some of the boss fights. And yeah, it nails it. Like that game, I'm glad I revisited it, because I know I loved it, and it's literally been sitting on my computer this whole time. Like I never uninstalled it. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
man, I really want to get. They did add like did I don't remember if Bayonetta had a mode like this, where it's just like a tower where you like fight wave after wave after wave. I don't think Bayonetta did that. I know Devil May Cry does that. Um, but it's like a mode like that, but every like 5 waves or something, the BPM of the song gets faster. So it's like you get
Yeah,
far,
yeah.
and you're just like, bah, 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 like it's just like it's like almost too fast. So they did add that like a couple months ago, and I went back and I played a little bit of it then. But I was like, I really want, so you can like New Game Plus it, because you can buy new combos and abilities and stuff, and then that stuff all carries over. So I New Game Plussed it on hard, because I played on normal the first time. And I'm like almost at the end. I didn't quite finish it yet, but I've been replaying that on hard in like my New Game Plus, because you can unlock like new outfits and stuff too.
Yeah, yeah.
There's even like secrets in some of the earlier levels that you need your companions to unlock, and you don't get, like, you get them progressively through the story. So when you New Game Plus, you like, they even make a joke about like, wait, why is she helping us? She like, she doesn't join us till later or something, and they're like, don't worry about it or whatever. And it's because like you need their abilities in the early levels to unlock some secret rooms and stuff.
But yeah, exactly. It's plus, so you're all bets are kind of off. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So it's been fun going back and getting some of those secret things. But yeah, that game is, if anyone has not played that and likes any of those games I mentioned, and like there was like a 2D game called like Crypt of the Necrodancer, I think is what it's called. And it's very similar to that, because on that game you could only move and attack, I believe, on rhythm. I've never played it, but I've watched it played. And yeah, if anyone likes any of those games I mentioned earlier when I was describing it, it's like stupidly good of a deal for how little it costs, and just how absolutely a blast it is to play.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm gonna try and finish that this week. Before I could probably finish it this weekend, but before Spider-Man comes out, because I really want, I really want to like complete it again, because I remember those last couple boss fights were really really cool.
Oh, awesome.
Um,
Before you go into Doom Eternal, one thing
yeah.
I don't think we've ever talked about, might be a bit of a blind spot for you, but so like I do a lot of like escape rooms with friends. I don't know if you've ever done any, but
I
like
did
it's
one for Jordan's wedding, I think it was.
anyway. So we do a lot of those, and like I do like with Bill and all sorts of friends and things like that, and but there are some mobile games that are from like the Rusty Lake kind of series. I don't know if you've ever done them.
No.
They are so much fun. And it's kind of like you're in a room and kind of swipe to do 90 degrees this way or 90 degrees that
Oh,
way.
so
And
like
like,
you're in the room virtually,
yeah,
like
yeah.
as a mobile game. Okay.
Exactly. And like, oh, there's a dresser there. Click on that, kind of zooms in, open this drawer. Oh yeah, there's a key in here. What's this for? But the animation style is really good. There's actually like some lore associated with it.
I've never
And
heard of this. I like
at,
escape rooms I have, but not this.
yeah, yeah. And so I think like the basic ones, and they're all free. They're called like cube escapes, and there's like 9 of them.
Okay.
And they're all like probably like 3 hours worth of like playtime
Shit.
kind of thing. Like
And so
and
it'd
then
be
they'll
something to do with like with. So if you had a couple friends doing it, you can all like log into the same
no,
thing.
it's a solo thing. So
Oh, okay.
it's just you're playing a game, you're in a, and it's not escape the room. It's like, oh, someone's been murdered here, and
Sure.
like it's kind of like a escape room concept, but it's the lore is that you're a detective and you're finding
Gotcha.
something out, whatever. But oh, click on this thing, and oh, actually, yeah, you can move their arm, and
Huh.
anyway, they're really fun. There's probably about 9 of them that are free, and then there are 2 that were like a $10 buy or whatever, but like I probably got like 20 hours out of each one.
Okay.
And one just came out called Underground Blossom, and played it in the weekend, and it was like 3 hours worth of, and it was like $1.
Okay.
They're really kind of creepy. It's anyway, highly recommend anything Rusty
Yeah.
Lake. They're really fun,
So
really really
is
fun.
Rusty Lake like the developer for these, or
Mm.
is it like a series under
Uh,
that name?
Rusty Lake is the developer, and but like the Rusty Lake Hotel is kind of part of the lore and
Gotcha.
whatnot. So, anyways, yeah, definitely check them out. They're really fun.
Oh, I've never heard of this.
But they're weird.
Okay.
Because it's like I remember one was like uh it's like I have a knife and I don't know what to do with it. And it's like you have an inventory and like it's like, okay, I want to use the knife on this. And like, nope, nothing. The knife on that, no, nothing. It's like, well, there's some old dude here. What happens if I use the knife like on his face? It's like, oh, you've cut off his ear. And then it's like, what do I do with this? And it's like, oh, you can go into the ear apparently, and like you go down and down and down, and it's just like it's like I don't know what to do. Well, just try everything
Just
because this
start
game is
chopping this guy up.
yeah, yeah. And then it's like oh, you got to find ice. They got this for this guy's drink, and then he drinks it, but then the ice melts and there's something in there. Like it's
It
really fun.
it
Yeah,
sounds like some some of the old like point and click like adventure
it's
games.
exactly what it is. Yeah.
I don't know if there's this one game we had. I was like, I think it was Day of the Tentacle is the one that the title that sticks out in my brain. I think I actually have it on PlayStation because it was free at one point. Uh, I
That
believe
name sounds super familiar.
so. Chris, it was like this one of our neighbors where we grew up.
Yeah.
He was a friend of mine in school, and I believe he gave it or he copied it for me or just lent it
Mm.
to me or something. And it's a lot of that. It's like, click on this. Like, what else can I click on in this room? And just, what the hell does this thing do? And yeah, it's kind of,
And so
it's a very similar vibe to that.
It's exactly that, but it is a really fun, especially like when you get into that mindset of like, what do I do with this? What can I combine this with? And I remember once, like, it's like you and lots of puzzles. It'll be like, oh, there's clearly a grate, and you can move these rocks, and like, you got to move them in a certain pattern, and when you do it, oh, okay, then you get a key or something.
Right.
And I remember you do this like weird puzzle, and then you get like some bird food that, like, oh, okay, there's a pigeon here, I'll feed it to the pigeon, and like it's like, because it just kind of stays there, but then when you fed it, it flies away, but it flies away and gets hit by a train, and then there's just like this blood everywhere. Then you're like, I have a paintbrush. Okay, you like put blood on the paintbrush, and oh yeah, I can paint this now with the blood from the bird that just exploded. It's just like super random. Anyway, they're really, really fun. Highly recommend. Anyone check them out.
I didn't know that was the thing on, like, I didn't know they took like that sort of concept of an escape room and like miniaturized it into like a solo, like, mobile game kind of experience, but makes sense for the platform for sure.
Bill and I are like obsessed with them. We'll like text each other like, there's only like 3 more weeks till the new Rusty Lake game comes out. But anyway, check them out. They're fun, especially like, I feel like, when did I learn about them? A couple times when I went to Japan, and it'd be like, oh, I got a 2-hour train ride. Oh, there's a new Rusty Lake game. Download this for free. There, I'm good. Anyway,
cool. Yeah,
check it out.
I'd never even heard of those. Okay, so my other game I wanted to talk about, Doom Eternal, like I mentioned at the top of the podcast. So yeah, were we talking about this after we were recording? I think we did. It was like right before FF7 Remake, so I was just I dived into it super hard just to like distract myself from the calendar. So yeah, 100% still agree it is my absolute favorite shooter of all time, at least as far as the campaign is considered. Obviously, I like other games, multiplayer shooters, but just to play it as a campaign, god damn it, this game is so good. So the biggest thing that I can attribute to why I love playing this so much is, so first of all, it's very arcadey sort of shooter, like old Doom would be. It's like you don't reload your gun, like you just have your set amount of ammo. It's less precision with most of the weapons and more just raw destruction. And so it's very arcadey, very fast. And so the combat loop is like the most addictive part of this game. So first of all, if anyone has not played this game yet and plays it at some point, it is one, I'm normally not someone who will always crank the difficulty on any game I play. I feel like we've talked about that on the pod before. Like, I'll find the one that is just, pushes back enough that it's still fun and not frustrating. Absolutely. I don't play this game on the hardest difficulty because it's insanity. And I tried and I couldn't even get past like the first stage. But it is absolutely worth cranking it more than the default. Because it's one of those games where it's like, it is so intensely fun based off this combat loop I'm going to talk about, when you are just always about to die, but not dying. Like when you're just about to die at any moment, but you're not. So the way that the combat loop that I describe it works is, so you have finite ammo, right? You don't have like unlimited ammo for your guns. So there's 3 ways to get 3 of your resources back. So when an enemy is low on health, like when it's almost dead, they start flashing like orange and blue. And that allows you, kind of like God of War, where it's like, hey, you can murder this guy now, like in one shot.
Yeah.
So if you melee them, or I don't even know if there's a normal melee in the game. I think it's just the glory kill button is what they're called, glory kills. You do like this super gruesome, like there's like one where it's like these sort of zombie like guys. You like turn around and it's kind of like mouth open, and you have like this like sheathing like blade on your forearm, and you just turn around and just right in the mouth. It's just like and you just like throw them to the ground, or you cut people in half, or just super gruesome. Like one of them is a zombie, like kind of more skeletal looking, and you literally just like hit him in the head, and his head goes like into his like chest. It's like bah! And he's not, and like push him over. So it's like very over the top, like violent.
Exactly as I would expect.
Yeah. So when you glory kill someone, they will always drop a bunch of health. You have like you have a chainsaw that like there are fuel drops on the map, but it just it fills up over time as well. And like lighter enemies, like some of just like the more grunt sort of like little zombie type enemies, or the like little weak soldier type enemies. Most of them you can, if you have at least, I think it's two charges of the chainsaw, you can just instant kill them with chainsaw. That'll drop ammo. And then I feel like it's pretty early. Yeah, this is only the first or second level. You unlock this like flamethrower that's just on a cooldown. If you set someone on fire, while they're still alive and burning, or when you kill them when they're on fire, they drop ammo. Or not ammo, sorry, armor.
Armor, okay.
So it's like glory kill to get health, chainsaw to get ammo, and flamethrower to get armor. And I think armor, I don't remember if armor is actually just like extra life, or it like reduces damage until it's gone or whatever. But it's obviously helps your survivability.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, you go through the normal like sort of corridors of the level, and there's like little mini like very light puzzles and traversal puzzles and stuff. But then once in a while you get into this, like you walk in and you're like, oh, okay, this is a combat arena. And it's like you get in there, doors are locked, and it's like here's a bunch of enemies like spawning for a couple minutes or whatever. And you just kind of survive, and there's ammo littered all over. So you get a dash that has 2 charges, double jump, and you have your flamethrower. You have 2 types of grenades that are on independent cooldowns. So you have like a frost grenade and a normal grenade. And it doesn't like, you don't throw it. It's like a launcher on your shoulder. So it's like, you don't have to put your gun away to like pick out a grenade. It's just like, boom, like just shoots it, press a button.
It just comes out from the screen.
Exactly. And it's like, it is unrelenting when you're on like, so I think I don't know what the default difficulty is called. It might just be called normal. I forget. But I think the one step up, I think it's only one step up, is called like ultra violence. So that's what I play on. And it's like, enemies are aggressive. Like there's, especially like one type of enemy that just like bull charges you. And it's like every single like, non like basic enemy, like every single like, not mini boss, but just like special enemy type has at least one very specific weakness for one of your guns. So there's this like bull charging demon that like if you don't get out of the way, like it like pushes you and it knocks you back and does a shitload of damage. If it gets you in a corner or against a wall, you're dead, because it just like keeps hitting you into the corner, and you just can't, it's like super aggressive. And it's like that thing has like a really like soft flesh on like its back and its tail, so you have to get behind it with your shotgun, and like you kill it in a couple 2 or 3 shots, whereas if you try and shoot it in the face, it like is like 30 shots before it goes down, because it's got like more armored skin or whatever. And then there's like these weird sort of like brain type things that are in these like spider robot sort of legs with like a turret on top. And it's like you get a sniper attachment for your machine gun, and it's like one sniper shot will take that cannon out, and they'll just come up and try and hit you melee, but they don't do much damage. There's like these guys with energy shields, and your pulse rifle will overheat those and blow them up.
Hmm.
And so like every time, oh, there's like these floating demon heads where an attachment for your normal shotgun is like a grenade launcher. And if you shoot one at it, it'll go in its mouth, take a second, blow up, and it's instantly ready for a glory kill.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
and it's like you can unlock skills to like glory kill from farther away, so you kind of dash at them. So it's
Mm.
like you're literally fighting stuff, and I see one of those guys up there, and I'm like grenade launcher, keep fighting, and I hear it go off, and I just turn glory kill, and I'll teleport
Yeah.
up there and then dash away. Because it's like you cannot stay still in this when you're in those combat arena like areas.
Yeah.
It's like you absolutely cannot stay still, and it's like getting a glory kill. It's like you're invincible while you're doing it, but it's only like a second or second and
Yep.
a half long. But
Yep.
it's like it just gives you that second to be like, okay, where the fuck am I going next? Like,
Yep. Oh,
just get that breather for a second, right?
it's funny, like God of War, the
Yeah.
glory kills there. You're just like, you get 2-3 seconds, and it just kind of helps me like, okay, yeah, what's going on again? Like,
Yeah.
what's my next move?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's why I thought it'd be good to talk about this game when you were talking about God of War, because like some of
Yeah.
that stuff is the same kind of feeling, right? Um, so yeah, you can't move up and can't stop moving. The music is so good. It's like super intense, like insane metal
Guitar.
with like
Yeah.
crazy chanting choir, demonic sounding things. But it's like it is unrelenting when
Yeah.
when the combat is going. And yeah, you gotta have the music turned up when you're playing this, because it's like when those combat like arenas are done. Like there was one I was on last night, and I think I died like 6 or 7 times, and it's just like, and it's like it's the same kind of thing we're talking about, where it's like, okay, that was not my or that was my fault. I didn't shoot that guy's turret off, and he was just fucking me up from across because it does so much damage. Or, and every weapon has 2 attachments, so it's like those bull charging ones. I forget what they're called. One of you, so your one attachment for your shotgun is grenade launcher. The other one is like, it's like it makes your barrel of your shotgun rotate, and it's like rapid fire shotgun. And it's like that's what that melts that enemy from behind. So it's like I had to wait for him to charge, put that attachment on, dash around, and like 3 shots, he's dead. And then I knew another one spawned over there next, so I throw my freeze grenade at it, get behind it, same thing. Okay, those threats are taken care of. I can just sort of pick off the other ones, and just like always looking at your health, and it'll beep at you when you're like under 25% health or something, so you kind of know without actually looking that you're close to death. So you're just like, okay, let me just shoot the legs out of a weak guy so I can glory kill that one. And then, oh shit, my shotgun has no ammo. Where's someone I can chainsaw? And it's like constant. It's like the amount of like micro decisions you have to make every second in that game is just like, it's unmatched in a shooting game. And I know that is the loop that makes this my favorite game, is like that amount of decision making. And like, and it's like it's like when you don't even know what decision you have to make, you just have to keep moving and like dash backwards, like just to give yourself like half a second to like look at your resources and like what's off cooldown and what, and my ammo is low. And you get like super shotgun, which is like a sawed off shotgun. And in this game, because you got one in Doom, the reboot in like 2016, but in this one, they give you like a grappling hook at the end of your shotgun, and it is, its cooldown is pretty short, and you, as long as it's like green, you like right click and you'll shoot the enemy and just pull right into them with like this sawed off shotgun ready to launch. And sometimes you just use it to traverse. Like there's an enemy up there and I'm getting fucked down here. Just like at least use the grappling hook so I can get up in the air and then dash away and like just think for a second. And
that's so funny. It's like, oh, it's a sawed off shotgun. I'm gonna get as close as possible, put a grappling hook on.
And it's like, it's so satisfying when it's like a medium to small enemy, because like they're gonna die in one shot with this gun, and so you're just grappling, coming right for them, and just like shotgun, it's like blood confetti, and you didn't even stop moving, you just keep running forward, and like as you're like being showered by all these like all this bloody like glory from this, just coming in with that shotgun, boom, and I'm just gonna keep running. It's like, make way, please.
Yeah, I love that. Like you said, it's like on the fly strategy
Yeah,
essentially. Yeah, where you're like autopilot doing this for 2 seconds while I strategize on my next 10 seconds.
right.
And like, okay, I got my next 10 seconds planned. Da 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 da. Okay, now what is my next 10 seconds?
Yeah,
And it's I was gonna do this, but now I need to do a hard pivot, and this is like in nanosecond
yeah.
time kind of thing.
It's like, well,
Yeah.
I was gonna use my pulse rifle to blow up that guy's shield, but I have no ammo. So where's someone I can chainsaw?
Hmm.
And just making making those improvisations on the fly,
Yeah.
and to the point that like, what was I gonna say? Oh, so like on playing on mouse and keyboard, like it does the standard like weapon wheel if you were,
Mm,
and you can still use that on keyboard, but if you're on a controller, that's obviously how you pick your weapons, and
mm,
it'll slow down when you do that. Um, but on a keyboard, like every gun is mapped to one of the like
hmm.
numbers, and
Yeah.
so after you play for a decent amount, you just know 2 is my shotgun, 3 is my rifle, or
Yeah.
4 is my rocket launcher, and so on. So, because it's like I don't want to slow the game down to pick my weapon. It's like I don't want it to stop because it's
I
so
want to keep
fun.
it real time,
Yeah,
essentially. Yeah.
and to the point where like there you because you get these items, and as you do combat encounters, because there's some secret ones that aren't part of the main path, you get like different like items or tokens or whatever that you can upgrade different things of your kit with. And one of the upgrades you can unlock is like if you're in the air, like if you're in midair and you right click, I think maybe it's just with the rifle, or maybe I don't remember if it's with any weapon. I think it's just with the sniper rifle. I can't remember. But there's a way you can slow down time when you're in midair and
Mm.
shooting or aiming. And I was like, I don't want that. Get that power up out of my like I don't want that fucking power up. I don't want to slow shit down. And I like never got it. I was like, no, I don't want that.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Um so anyway, like it's all those things and finding that right difficulty. um so like literally like if you look at my health during one of those like combat encounters, I'm at like 30% or lower almost the whole time because I'm just constantly getting bombarded and just barely getting enough to like stay alive. And just like I know there's like a group behind me, so I'm like jump, switch the rocket launcher, turn around, boom, and then keep running, and like just to slow them down for like half a second.
Yeah.
And then when you get to those combat arenas and like you kill the last enemy, and the music kind of like it does that. It like very dynamically will like kind of I don't know what the right word is for it, but it like dies the music down and kind of transitions back to like the
Yep.
normal stage
Yeah.
sort of ambient music. Like when that happens and you get the little like all the sound effects in the game are so good, and it's like you get the little combat encounter thing is like checking off another one of the list or whatever. You're just like it feels so good.
Yeah. Um, oh no, I love stuff like that where it just like it's satisfying. It's very satisfying. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I hadn't played that game on my new setup yet. So I have
Mm,
like a nicer monitor.
yeah.
And I did a bunch of PC upgrades this year. So I was playing that game with everything turned all the way up.
Mm,
And now id Software, who makes the Doom games, like they are like technical wizards anyway. Cause like even
yeah.
on my older PC, which wasn't nearly as good, the game still looked amazing and ran very smoothly at like 60 frames or probably a little higher. But like now that I could crank, I had to turn some things down, but it like didn't compromise the look of the game that much because id
Yep.
Software is just very good at making a game that looks amazing and runs very smoothly. Um, but like I had everything, excuse me, cranked all the way up. I think even ray tracing was all the way up, and
Mm.
it still was running at a high like 2K resolution at like 160 frames per second. It was just like I was like just sitting here, and it's like if someone walked in and saw the things I was doing on my screen and how big of a smile I had on my face, they'd be like, "You are a psychopath."
I'm having
So,
so much fun.
yeah. So anyway, yeah, I haven't gone all the way through the campaign again, but I plan to. But it absolutely still holds up as my favorite shooter by far, as
Oh
far
man,
as the campaign goes. Because
I'm gonna have to keep an eye because now I want to play it. So,
oh my god, and
uh,
I've heard that they translated it to console really well because it obviously is like more geared towards mouse and keyboard play style because it's so fast. But
yeah,
I've heard they've tuned it well so that because if I were to play the PC version with a controller, I'd probably get absolutely destroyed because they're just designed to like be faster and more
quick.
aggressive
Yeah, yeah,
because you can be as aggressive as that with a mouse
yeah,
and keyboard. But I've
yeah,
heard that like they've tuned it very well for a controller so that
yeah,
it still has the right balance of like being super aggressive but not unfair given like your more limited sort of movement
mm,
capabilities. But yeah, and it goes on sale dirt cheap now because that's like a
mm,
three-year-old game at this point.
yeah.
So it goes on
Awesome.
sale for like 10-15 bucks usually.
That's amazing.
So but yeah, I love that game so much and the soundtrack is so good. I really do like Doom 2016, but it didn't have the dash. I think it had a double jump, but it doesn't have the dash. And I tried to go back when I was going to replay this, like, oh, let me
Mm,
play Doom 2016 first and then play this
mm,
because the Doom 2016 was like the initial reboot, and then
yeah,
this is like a direct sequel. And it's like, it felt too slow.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
man, that dash is like, because that your two because your dash has two charges and it refills like every like 4 or 5 seconds. Like it's not a
Mm,
long cooldown, and it
yeah, yeah,
makes a very distinct sound when it's recharged. So it's like you don't even
yeah,
have to be paying attention, and it's
yeah.
just like you're just constantly dashing, and it's omnidirectional. So it's like you don't just dash forward. Like if you're
Mm.
holding back and you dodge, you'll dash. I think
Oh,
like
okay.
yeah, I'm pretty sure you do, or left or right or whatever. Um, and then you can get an ability that like refreshes your dashes on a glory kill, so you can like hit someone from far, dash glory kill, dash and like get farther away and stuff like that. Oh god, yeah, I love this game so much. I'm probably gonna play it after we're done recording because it's just
Nice.
so goddamn fun. I think that I'm just going over my points, make sure I didn't miss anything because I get excited when I talk about this game. Oh, yeah,
I just love a good arcade style
yeah.
shoot 'em
That's
up
it's
or
like
shooter. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like you definitely have to like concede that like this is not a realistic shooter at all, and it's not tactical, like
Yeah.
precision aiming all the time. Like
It's not Call of Duty or whatever,
right,
and like, but like that's not really my jam. Like
yeah,
I'm not a big like Call of Duty. I'm just like, you know what? Just give me a one player campaign.
hmm.
That's really, you know, as the furthest I get to the like um first person shooter online multiplayer is like GoldenEye. Like that to
Sure,
me is the extent of where I want to go in that direction.
yeah,
And it's not far from just arcade style playing around.
yeah,
So yeah,
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 and I like the more tactical shooters in some games. Like I play a lot of Battlefield and stuff, but it's like this is one. It's just like it's an entirely different enjoyment I get out of playing something like Doom Eternal, and just because it's so goddamn good. Like
yeah,
that combat loop is literally the reason why I love that game so much. I know that's what it is that gets me so addicted. And coming back to it, 3 years later, um, just confirms like yeah, that's why I love this game is like that combat loop is such a signature thing that this game does so well and just
yeah.
causes you to make those decisions at all the time. Yeah, I love it. I really love. If anyone hasn't played Doom Eternal, even if you haven't played Doom 2016, the story doesn't matter at all in this game. So like, don't worry. This Doom Eternal is the superior game for sure. And they even added like a horde mode, so it's like fighting waves of enemies on different levels and stuff. So if you just want to jump in just for some of the combat and not worry about going through the levels and stuff, and it's got really good secrets in the levels too that are actually pretty easy to like track what you've got and what you've missed. So I remember when I played it that first time, I got almost all the secrets because it was fun to actually go through and comb through the levels and stuff. And some of them were pretty tricky to find. So, yeah, excellent game. Still my favorite. And I know I will absolutely replay it again at some point. Well, I guess there's a rumor they're working on another Doom, so we'll see when that gets announced, when that comes out, because I'll be playing that day one for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I had for the game recaps. So one thing we'll do, we're just about at 2 hours, so this will be a good way to cap it off. So just because we couldn't help ourselves and talk about Final Fantasy VII, one thing I did with Brad last week on the side quest episode is I pitched him some character pairings for Rebirth, and I had him come up with some synergy attack ideas. Just nice. Very basic level, like we don't have to, get too in detail.
Just general concept.
Just like, what would be a cool thing that these two characters could do?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just mix up some of these pairings that I gave him. Let me just see. I want to keep this one because that was fun. Keep that one. Let's do. Okay. That. I kind of want to see what you'd say for this one anyway, even though I said that last week. And this one will do, yeah. Okay, I got like 4 or 5 that will do.
Sure.
So if anyone hasn't seen the Brad episode, I had him go through all these, and he had some really funny ideas for some of these.
And I have not seen it yet. So
okay, so you're not copy. If you say one that's similar, that's pure coincidence.
Yeah.
Okay, so first one. Now I know we won't get to do this one in Rebirth because this character will not be playable apparently until the third part. But what would be a Sid and Cloud synergy attack? What would you like to see?
Sid and Cloud. Okay, so Sid spears, and let me think. I'd say it'd be like a double kind of slasher kind of thing. Like it'd be physical, no magic involved. I think. I'd say like, cross slash, and then like spear, like right down the middle.
Right down the middle. Okay.
Yeah. While maybe he'd like put out a cigarette and then throw it.
Sure. Yeah. While Cloud's doing his cross slash, he's like taking his like one last drag. And then puts out his cigarette. Yeah. Another one I was just thinking is like, what's that move? It's like Climb Hazard in OG, but he kind of gets a version of it in Remake. I think it's called like Ascension, where he does a bunch of slashes and then straight up.
Yeah.
And he's doing that while Sid. I don't know what Sid would do in the beginning, but it ends with Sid doing a Dragoon jump while Cloud's doing the Ascension.
That.
Oh no. How would that? Maybe Cloud does the Ascension, Sid jumps and like comes down with Cloud like beside him, or takes his sword and comes down with the sword and the spear at the same time or something.
I feel like this is unfair, but like Ascension with a braver and
the Dragoon jump. Yeah, okay. Something like that. Yeah. I like that. I like both of those.
Arcade version is like Meteor Rain Limit Break and the like
the high wind.
The high wind, just the atomic bomb drop. Like that's the lazy lazy arcade version.
let's blend these two. Swings a sword, Meteor Rain, Sid comes down in the meteors with a jump attack. Like in the middle of the meteors.
Yeah, oh man. This is stupid now. Now we're being stupid.
Now we're being stupid. I haven't gotten to the Kate Sith one yet.
Cloud does Meteor Rain, and Sid does the high. And the high one is like it drops like the very cartoonish atomic nuke looking bombs, right? Yeah, missiles or whatever. But Cloud is like riding one of the missiles, like and then it's like an homage to the Doctor Strangelove or whatever. Like but then then Sid's riding a meteor down doing the same thing.
Oh, yeah. We ruined it.
We ruined it.
Don't do that, Square Enix. Don't put that in.
No. So my real answer is the first one.
Okay. Okay. Tifa and Yuffie.
Okay, so
I have an idea for this one.
Monk character and then like ninja character. Like I'd like to stick with like not a dolphin punch kind of like more of a legit like, yeah, she does like some sort of like somersaulty kind of thing, some like big martial artsy kind of move to hit them up into the air.
Okay.
And then Yuffie yeah, then like some sort of with her shuriken kind of throw with a anyway magical blow up that Tifa kind of hits them back to the ground, something like that. And then extra stuff again. Now start. Yuffie like steals materia somehow during it from like your party member.
Tifa just does the attack and gets back and is like, "What the?"
Looks at her glove and is missing
and then just smoke, like the cartoonish smoke cloud as she's running away.
Yeah. Exactly. Again, every time you do this move,
you gotta reslot your materia after the battle. And it'd be even funny if they actually go in to do an attack together and they get back and Tifa's like, "What?" Because they're like they're fighting close and she's actually just like taking the materia herself. So my idea, I mean, that was pretty good, but so Tifa has that move, I think it's called like overpower, where she like drill kicks into them and then kicks off. So Yuffie does like one of those ninjutsu like magic circles, and she goes through that and like sets her feet on fire, and then backflips off, and then she does another like horizontal like ninjutsu thing, and she like dive kicks through it into like another element.
I love that.
That was like the first thing I pictured when I wrote that pair down.
And I mean, you could have 4 versions of that where depending on what circles she goes through.
Because you pick which ninjutsu you're like using or whatever. That'd be cool if it would do a different effect at the end, depending. And then you're like, "Where's my materia?"
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Man, that has to happen. So I won't tell you actually if you haven't seen this in one of these demos, but I'm pretty sure I know how they meet Yuffie.
Okay. Please don't tell me because I don't know.
Because in OG7, you just have to. It's like a random encounter at certain points in the game. Like the percentage is higher, like the further you get in the game.
In a certain forest,
or whatever. So I'm pretty sure I know how you meet her in this one, and it like they have to do. She has to for sure try to what's the word? She has to for sure try to steal your materia early. And it won't work because obviously we're not going to Wutai in this one. But that absolutely has to be like some kind of like little joke where she's like trying to pick it out of someone's weapon and they're like, "The fuck you doing?" Like, you know.
And I hope that it like depends on some decisions, like some prompts or whatever.
It could be one of like the point systems where like who she tries to steal it from or something.
And like one of the most clever things I remember from that game, almost like it almost felt like breaking the fourth wall or whatever.
When you try to save and she runs away. That's so cool.
Because it was just like, okay, don't say this or don't say that or don't do this. It's like, oh, this is a save point. Okay, I'm gonna save because fucking Yuffie's gonna steal my goddamn materia, so I'm gonna save, and then she's gone. Like, what the crap? Oh, shouldn't have brought up that screen. It's like, you goddamn cheeky little. Anyway.
I luckily I think it's in that moment she'll just run away. She doesn't steal your stuff. It's when you
Sorry,
go. It's when you go to Wutai with her in your party or something that she steals it.
sorry, that's true.
But
Yeah,
it still
it's that
messes up
you
the whole
can't.
thing of you getting her recruited. Yeah,
It messes up you recruiting her. That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
that's perfect. Like throwing the save point in and like she fucking leaves. Like, God damn it, Yuffie.
What I would love is some sort of like, again, I'm not sure how it happens, but like you meet her and it's like, oh, okay. Um, should we just like take a seat for a second and save up some strength? And Tifa is just like, no, or something. Even if it's just like some throwaway dialogue that references that, I'd be
Yeah,
pretty happy.
100%. It's happening. Like
Yeah.
they will absolutely make either a joke about it or have her try to get away from you when you're doing something routine that you normally do. Or yeah, it is. And I absolutely want her to see her try to steal like Cloud's materia because it'd be so fucking funny.
Yeah. And for him to like have no time for that.
Yeah.
Like it's just if she's just like, again, I haven't played OG7 in a decade, but for her to say something like, oh hey, let me just whatever, and then him for just to be like, get off me. Like some sort of like just impractical sprite move done in real life, and it's just like, the fuck you doing? Get off me.
It's like she does that whole like over the top intro in intermission, which
Yeah.
like it's a whole cinematic like it's like I want her to do something like to be like at Cloud and just be like, "Are you done?"
Okay.
Like
yeah. I want like a and da, 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 and then she's just like this, and he's like, okay. Anyway.
Oh god, there's so many good moments.
Like, does anyone have anything normal to say?
Okay. This was a good one. Brad had a good one for this. Barrett and Vincent. Again, we probably won't get to do this one because I don't think Vincent's playable.
Yeah. Okay. Double gun related.
Yeah.
I think here. How about okay. So like Vincent, like, because he has like a shotgun. Is it always a shotgun? I think
he's got pistol, shotgun. Yeah, I think
okay.
mostly pistol and shotgun is what you see him use.
My buddy Robbie loves Vincent, so he talks about Vincent a lot. Like, okay, he brings out a shotgun or whatever, and like the full moon comes by, and then Barrett's just like out of the way, but he's being really fancy about it, and then Barrett, like just kind of like very stylistic hair kind of there, and the moon, and then just like fuck out of the way. And then he's that like he gets most of his shots at it, like smoke, he's out of ammo, and the enemy's just kind of like almost dead. And Vincent kind of gets the final shot, and
with his
with his style, and then Barrett just kind of I don't know, pushes him out of the way or whatever.
Or Vincent is like takes credit for the kill or something.
That's what
like,
I mean.
Yeah.
Like blowing the smoke off his gun, and it's really
into Barrett's face.
Yeah, into Barrett's face, and he just goes. Yeah, okay, that's my answer. Yeah.
One maybe would be, let's say, Barrett, he like charges up big shot, like a big shot, and Vincent jumps on the other side and turns into one of his like beast forms.
Yeah.
And he like fires the shot, and let's say maybe the enemy like dodges it, and Vincent just like punches it like back, like deflects it back into the enemy and kills him or something like that. But I like yours actually. That's a better one. I just was thinking like it'd be fun to use one of his like beast transformations.
Totally, and I was trying to think of a way to incorporate that. But
I like it better of the like competition of him, like, you know, style over substance kind of thing.
And I lean to him kind of being like Turk-esque, just kind of
yes,
cool, being cool.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But another one might another one I kind of thought of was just like I got two versions of this. The first one is um like Barrett goes to like or let's say Vincent's being really stylistic, trying to set up, and Barrett's like, get out of the way, goes to shoot, but his like gun
Like doesn't work, jams
doesn't
or
work,
something.
yeah, jams or whatever. And it's just like, and then does like a melee attack, like just like Barrett doing a melee. And then or the other one is like Vincent's gun doesn't work, Barrett does something, and then he's just like, oh, whatever. Like werewolf. Anyway, again, these are not practical Square Enix ideas. Now we're just
I mean,
diving in.
we saw one of them is Aerith creates two magic balls that Kate just eats and then fires a beam. So like nothing's off the table.
True.
And I think I saw the one where it was Yuffie and Barrett was in that trailer we watched, where Yuffie did like the magic circle, Barrett shot through, and then he literally just chucks her at the enemy.
Yeah.
Kind of the way he like throws Tifa up in that one part in remake.
Yeah.
But he just does that with Yuffie and like chucks her at the enemy. So like these are not that far off, I don't think.
True.
The absurdity is not really a factor that will rule these out.
I'm sorry, how about this? Barrett goes to shoot, and clearly something's kind of jammed up, and then Vincent like turns into one of the monsters and like bites his arm, which clearly unjams it and fills it with werewolf power.
Or like breathes fire on it or something, and it just starts firing on its own because the gunpowder is going off or something.
Yeah, but also with some extra werewolf power in there. Okay, these are good answers.
One that is like 100% happening in some way when we get this far, probably in part 3. Vincent and Red 13 will 100% be Vincent in his beast mode doing some crazy attack with Red 13.
Oh yeah,
and then I think this is what Brad had said. It's like whatever happens, however they attack, they're both howling at the moon at the end of it. So, yeah, exactly. That it will be in the game, guaranteed, 100%.
Bonus points if like the moon like twinkles at some point.
Yeah. Okay. This I have no idea. I feel like it could happen. No idea, but I would like to see it happen. Cloud and Zack.
Oh man. There's a really cool like in Ever Crisis, like there's a wallpaper you can get if you buy the premium whatever, and it's like the two of them. Anyway,
I saw that one. Yeah,
I was like, oh, I'm not paying anything in this game, but that is pretty damn cool. Oh man.
So one I had that I mentioned with Brad was, it's like, because Zack does like a version of cross slash I've seen.
I know.
And so my thought is like them on opposite sides doing their cross slash at the same time. Or I just thought of this now is like Cloud throws Zack his sword and he does a cross slash with both and then throws the swords to Cloud and he does his cross slash or something and then throws it back and they both just do like one last swipe to like finish the mark. Definitely they both have to be dual wielding Buster swords at some point.
Yeah. I like, it's really neat. Cloud is like one of my main characters Ever Crisis, and cross slash is like constant limit break for me, and just
never gets old.
It's just like the weight of the sword, right? And so it's just like one step forward, one step. It's like it's just so cool. But yeah, Zack does it definitely. I feel like deep dive here. Zack's movement is more cross slash like Cloud's strikes are not making the symbol that it shows. Anyway, okay, I think I have an answer. Here's the boring version, and we'll make it more exciting with embellishments. But like Cloud does braver, but like really, really hard, and so like the sword kind of sticks into the ground, and Zach kind of comes in somehow and like grabs it out of the ground and like does some sort of cross slash thing,
Okay,
whatever.
with like two.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
exactly. Like comes in with his, grabs Cloud's, and does like a double kind of cross slash thing. Um,
Or even
um,
like Cloud gets the second, like Zack throws Cloud the sword, double braver.
yeah.
Zack comes in, double climb hazard.
Oh man. Uh, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Cloud jumps up for single braver. Zack throws the sword
Yeah,
to him
alley oops
midair.
it,
Um,
boom,
double braver. Um,
like
uh,
backflips away.
yeah, backflips away. And Zack like kind of comes up to grab both braver swords kind of from underneath, and then like flips them up to do like, I don't know, some sort of double cross slash or double something. Yeah, I like that a lot actually.
So here's the dumb version. Here's the embellished version.
Okay, yeah,
It's
that wasn't the embellished version.
so it's the double symmetrical like cross slash
Yeah,
one, but every time he does like so Zack slashes first to do the first
mm,
mark, then
yeah,
Cloud does it, then bang forth. But every
yeah,
time he slashes, Cloud and Zack are not in the same timeline right now, and every time he hits him, it like warps them, it sends them through time. Just Cloud hits him back, hits him back, hits him back.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Now we're into the good stuff now.
Yeah,
Um,
literally
uh,
hits him through time.
I I I really like the double braver,
Yeah, I do too. Actually, that would be so sick.
especially if it's just like going up for one and just like he's got the double braver and Zach kind of throws it up to him and Claude doesn't even look and just kind
Yeah,
of takes
just
it
boom.
and in.
And then because climb hazard is like kind of like the uppercut where he like gets it in and jumps up. So
Yeah,
like Zach would come in and just like like flip them around like
yeah,
so
yeah,
their blades up and then just
yeah.
just all the
Double
way
up.
up
Yeah,
and then just like
yeah,
throw the sword back to Cloud.
yeah, yeah.
And then they
Uh,
land in like that pose like back to back like because like
yeah,
Zack has his Buster Sword reversed as the way
yeah,
Cloud carries it, so they're
yeah,
like back to back, and you can kind of see this Buster Swords actually like crisscrossing or whatever.
yeah. No, that would be awesome. Or like whoever land, I feel like Zach does the move of like he holds it like in the ground. Like I guess if Zach does the first move, um he'll be on the ground with the sword, and then when Cloud finishes the climb hazard, anyway, he lands on the ground and catches the sword on his back, kind of
Sure.
thing, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, double buster. Sorry, you caught me off guard. You caught me off guard with double buster sword. I didn't even know what to do.
I mean, if they meet in some form during this game in a battle scenario where they're fighting together, which is very possible,
Yeah.
like one of them will be dual wielding Buster Swords. Like most likely Cloud. Like Zack will like just because Cloud's always the main character, right? So
Yeah.
there will be a point where he has two Buster Swords in his hands. Like put money on it. It's happening.
If you're right, just to like write my eulogy, like I'm done. Like we've talked about moments in gaming where it's just like, this is why I play video games, stuff
Yeah,
like
that
that.
would be
But like
it.
there are a very finite few number of moments. I feel like Remake has at least one of them. FF16 probably has one too, where I've literally had to like stop the game and
Yeah.
just be like, I can't. I'm overstimulated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like I'm so happy that I need to like pause this and like just like pause time and say like, I'm so happy right now. I don't want this moment to end, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause
Just
it
gonna
and
live in
extend
this
it.
moment for a few
Yeah,
minutes.
I don't want to know what happens in the next 2 seconds, and I want to live in anticipation for and like go get like a drink or something and
Yeah.
just like anyway. I feel like there'll be several of those in Rebirth.
Yeah. And especially double Buster Swords. That's gonna
Yeah.
happen. I promise you it's gonna happen.
Oh God, I don't even know what this. Anyway, you caught me off guard. I had good answers for the other ones. That one took me a while because I didn't even could know how to conceptualize a Zack and Cloud reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the last one. This is a little more open ended. So Cloud and any other crossover Final Fantasy character. What would be a synergy attack?
Like
So
crossover.
any Final Fantasy character.
Oh man. Cloud and uh okay. So yeah, I gotta pick a character, then I gotta think of their moves. This is a hard one. Uh well, let's do FF16 since it's so fresh.
Sure. That's what Brad picked too.
Okay,
he
nice.
picked Clive.
Did he? Okay, yeah. Let's do Cloud and I mean, yeah, let's do Cloud and Clive. So okay, what's Clive do? Like I'm so rebirth mode.
I mean, yeah, like any of his icon,
Yeah.
whether it's like semi-primed or if he
Oh,
just goes
whatever.
straight Bahamut and like
Yeah.
does some crazy shit with Cloud, like
Yeah.
there's all kinds of
Yeah, well, I like a good like okay, let's do like semi-prime Clive. Okay. Let's say Cloud does like a good Buster Sword kind of thing. Like a braver Clive does.
got you a little off. I got you a little off guard with this one. Sorry, I'm
man,
putting you
no,
on the spot.
I was in Final Fantasy 7 mode. Okay, so
I
if you
know.
fire like a Phoenix shift, like you know what I mean? Like the
That
teleport kind of
teleport.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess I mean he can do so many other icon things. So yeah, no. Do that. Oh, okay, here we go. Sorry, I'm recalibrated here. I
Yep.
remember
Yep.
I remember Clive.
No problem.
Okay, so Cloud does let's say kind of just a stun of some sort and then a cross slash while Clive is doing or immediately after the full on Phoenix ultimate move.
Like Rebirth or Flames of Rebirth or whatever it
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
Or actually, sorry, Clive does Flames of Rebirth the first part.
Okay.
And then with like a braver as it's like the second kind of ultimate part. Okay, yeah, that's my answer. It took me a while to get there to remember.
Yeah, you said you were full Final Fantasy brain there, so or Final
Yeah,
Fantasy 7 brain, I mean.
Yeah, I wasn't calibrated properly, but yeah. But okay.
I mean mine would have to be with Lightning because she's one of my absolute favorite Final Fantasy
Lightning
characters.
was what I was considering before I kind of said and I was like, oh, what kind of double angsty thing can they both do?
It would be like when she does her like Army of One move where it kind of like freezes the enemy or goes super like slows down time and she does all the crazy. It would be like a combination of that and like Omni Slash where she slows them down and then they both go in and do their crazy like multi-hit attacks. And then
Omni
maybe
Slash is definitely something as well. That I didn't remember. Yeah.
one move I love that Lightning does in some of her combos, and I think she does it in that move, is sometimes she like backflips and shoots with like, and during the flurry, she would like jump to Cloud, and he would on his Buster Sword and throw her up, and she'd backflip in the air and shoot a couple times, and then come down with the sword like in sword mode. She has to jump off the Buster Sword at some point during that combo.
I can picture the exact animation you're talking about. Yeah. Because that's Lightning being like one of her most badassiest kind of things. So yeah.
It's like part of her normal like attack string, but I know she also does it during that Army of One animation.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite things she does. And it starts when they're like prepping to like right before they go in. What would Cloud do? I don't know, one of his like battle ready moves. Maybe like I really love the way he like right before he does cross slash, when you get the camera zoom in when he like goes right down. So that's what he does, and Lightning does. There's that one cutscene in the entire first 13 game where she like pulls her sword out and it slowly morphs into sword mode. Like she's like pulling it up, and as she's going, it's just doing that weird folding thing. She 100% does that, and then they go in and do the move.
A good kind of stance that wasn't kind of part of this is like when you go into like the counter
like one hand.
It's that same kind of thing. But yeah, maybe like that as and that can be right before Lightning hops on it, that he can launch her up to do the backflip shoot.
Okay, so he goes in that pose, she pulls out the sword and does that slow unfold. She jumps on him, throws her like opposite, so like flanking the enemy. Overhead, she's like shooting, upside down lands on the opposite side, does that weird lightning bubble thing that slows them down, and then they go in and they do the like one at a time, like going like straight through. Kind of the way he. Sorry, I cut you off.
No.
When he's doing Omni Slash in Advent Children, and he like grabs the sword and goes through and goes through and goes through, but it's just like Lightning and Cloud just going back and forth. Like going back and forth through them.
I was gonna say too, like, okay, you get in that stance, she jumps on top, launch her up, does the backflip shoot, but like now, since he's kind of in this kind of stance, like he shoots her up, and then it's kind of a Klim hazard continuation after launching her off, to which he can end with a braver as part of ending with the braver, ending with a, I don't know, something from Lightning.
I don't know. I can't think of one of her like
braver like from above moves.
But as long as she does that backflip overhead shooting thing and the slowdown time thing, that's all I want. That's what I want her to do.
Man, I like this synergy talk. This is good.
Very exciting. So what we've learned is Vincent and Red 13 will 100% howl at the moon together. Vincent will be super cocky with Barrett in the way he uses his gun.
And very
Turks, like a Turks
camera focused.
And Cloud and Zach will, at least one of them will dual wield Buster Swords at some point. That's what we learned. Those are all facts.
Those are all facts and predictions. Every move we've predicted, including Sid riding a meteor down to the battle.
That one should actually be his attack with Tifa, because she has the cowgirl outfit.
Exactly.
She actually has the hat she can have.
It's like you get a skin that gives you like Nibelheim Tifa, and it's just like, I know exactly what has to be done. It's like, I guess, how skins sometimes come with a special ability. Well, that skin comes with
And I guess the other fact is that Yuffie will 100% steal someone's materia during a synergy attack.
Exactly. During a synergy attack, if you try to save during a synergy attack, she'll steal your materia. Or if you try to open up the like pause screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Oh man, yeah, that was fun.
Okay,
There's-
you heard it here first, everyone.
yeah. Okay.
That I'm confident in. No one has come up with these ideas
No.
before. Oh
Yeah,
man.
that was good. Okay, yeah, that took a little more time than I thought, but it was too fun. I didn't, yeah, I wanted to do them all. Um, so yeah, we'll call it there. If you guys, anyone watching, if put down your dream synergy attacks in the comments. I'm at the point with 7 Rebirth where like, yes, tell me whatever insane theory you want because like I want to hear all of it because it's like we have no idea where this is going, and
Yeah.
I'm all on the hype train with all these theories. So
And it's fun because it could be anything.
they've shown like
yeah,
man, I don't want to say it if you didn't see it in that gameplay demo. There is something they run into out in the field that I was just like oh, this is here now, like this is happening out in the wild. Okay, like they're just off the freaking rails with this game.
they're drunk with power.
Yeah, and it's just like I feel like doing remake part 1 was just like, okay, give me money please to make the rest of this game, and I'm not skipping anything weird. Like, it's all getting in there. So I think it was because like they made it's like someone said like because they made Hell House a boss fight, they're gonna make there's one enemy in like the Gongaga area as like Tricera tank, and it's like this big robotic Triceratops. I was like, that will be a chapter boss. Like, that is gonna be this big multi-phase fucking chapter and boss fight. I guarantee it.
With lore.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, like they're holding nothing back. So anyway, so yeah, anyone watching, give us your dream synergy attacks in the comments. Our next episode will probably be, I'll probably talk a little bit about Spider-Man. Obviously, we won't get into it too much because I know you're gonna want to play that too. So I'll keep it very spoiler light by the time we record another episode. Because I'll be deep into Spider-Man and Super Mario Brothers Wonder or whatever it's called. That comes out next week as well. So
awesome.
I'll have that to talk about too. We'll probably record. It won't be next weekend because I'll be playing those games. But maybe the week or the next one. We'll probably get another one in before the end of October at least.
I'll hopefully have some more God of War on the books as well. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah. If you do make more progress, we can continue to talk about that. I think that's all I got. So everyone, don't forget to like us and subscribe here. It helps us out a lot, and really appreciate it. If you don't mind us inevitably talking about Final Fantasy 7 during every episode, and you're still watching, we appreciate that you keep coming back because that part is not going to stop.
Yeah, nice try. Yeah, Final Fantasy light episode.
Yeah, I cursed us. Why the fuck? I didn't know what I was thinking.
No, anyways, we're honest about our brand here. So,
exactly. Cool.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, thanks, Matt, again for joining us. I look forward to hearing more about your God of War progress. And thanks everyone for listening. Let us know, like I said, any rebirth predictions, just put them in the comments. I don't care if it's about synergy attacks or whatever. Just tell us what you want to see in that game because yeah, we can't wait.
It can't be more ridiculous than what
I think we've set the bar too high for anyone to disrupt. So yeah, we'll put whatever you want about Rebirth down there. And then yeah, with that being said, until the next one, we'll be back next time. I will 100% be talking about Spider-Man because I'm going to be playing that day 1, and we'll see how weird Super Mario Brothers Wonder gets because it looks pretty fucking weird.
Nice.
Right on.
Cool.
All right, thanks, Matt, and thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Awesome. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.